Sawabona Kings and Queens. No, I didn't give you guys a lot of time on this video. Just something that was on my mind this morning from something that I learned from Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Powernomics. And so it was on my mind. I was talking to my girlfriend about it, actually talking to the men of Building Better Men about it this past Sunday. So I figured I should just do a quick video. It's only going to be about 5 minutes on social integration and vertical integration. Now, one question that is asked often about black business is, why are black people that are in business always in competition with each other? And I'm going to give you an answer that you probably never thought about. The answer is because they have no other choice. When you have a bunch of sole proprietorships or limited liability corporations, LLCs, that only have one owner, and you have different blacks that are in the same industry, by default, you become my competition. So I have no choice but to be in competition with you if we're in the same field. And that creates this whole crabs in the barrel mindset, because we are stuck and forced ourselves in this barrel simply because we have one owner businesses. So now what Dr. Claude Anderson teaches, he teaches about social integration and vertical integration. It's in the T. You know, I got my mad scientist wall that I do all my writing on. So the one T is like that, and the other T is like this. All right. So now, this right here is the social integration. This is black people with black businesses. So we have one owner of business, another one owner business, another one owner business, and so on and so on and so on. So now all of these are businesses of black-owned companies in the same industry, but they all have one owner. Now, this right here is the barrel. It's no way you can't be my competition if we're in the same industry. I don't care how big of a heart you have. You can love your black people, but if you're selling the same product I'm selling, you are my competition, and there's nothing that I can do about that. I don't care how much you love your fellow black brother or sister. If you are all in the same industry, you become each other's competition, which prevents us from competing against other races. And the reason you can't compete against other races is because other races are combined and they have bigger corporations, and one individual cannot compete against a whole nother race. So now, this is the social integration. But here is vertical integration. And up here, at the top of this, is white race, Asians, Indians, Hispanics, Arabs, and whoever else. This is their whole race. The whole race. Power, 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 power. Now us back over here, this is where we are. Individual. No power, no power, no power, no power. So then how do we fix this? Well, this is how we fix this. You take these 4 and you bring that over here. Instead of that being all these one businesses, you take these, you turn these into bigger corporations. So now, as you combine all of your resources, you then move up the ladder, and then you put yourself here in power. Now you can compete against other races as opposed to competing against each other. But as long as everybody has a sole proprietorship or a LLC where there's only one owner, we can never compete against these people. So now, right now, there are quite a few women and some men who are selling hair and hair care products. And some of them are doing really good. But the fact of the matter is, they are each other's competition. They cannot compete with other races as it stands, simply because they don't own stores. They don't own a store, that has every single product and every single type of hair and brushes and combs and blow dryers. They don't have the stores as the Asians do, because they have cornered the market. So now what can you do? You see, this one person here might not have enough money to do that, but all 4 of them together, they put that money together, they can buy a store. These guys, they put their money together, they can buy a store. So now when you have the store, you put yourself up here. You have the exact same thing that the other races have. But what makes it so wonderful is, once you get there, you can then corner a market. Now, the Asians right now have cornered the hair market. But if we have the same kind of stores with all of the products with the same pricing, And we know it's going to be way better customer service because those Asian stores are just out of control. But we got to go there because they have all the products. So now if we have everything in our stores that they have, we can then corner the market. And in this market, in our black neighborhoods, we can erase everybody else. And now the only people who can sell black hair care products are black people. And now we control an entire market. Now this is not only limited to hair. This is to any industry that black people use a certain product or a certain service. I know it's all great to have your own business and, you know, to be the chief of this thing. But the fact of the matter is this world is built on corporations. And if you don't have a corporation, if you don't have other people that's bringing more capital to the business, you cannot compete with other races. And you will be forced to have a crabs in a barrel mindset to some extent simply because the black people that are in the same industry that you are in are your competition by default. Even if you have a heart that feels like I'm not in competition with them, yes, you are. You have no choice but to be in competition with somebody else that's in your industry selling the same product or service. And so what we have to do as African Americans is get rid of that mindset of being a sole proprietor and build corporations, build relationships, and don't be shysty. Don't be trying to take over or take somebody's customers. We have to have a genuine heart. You know, there are people out there that I know, and I'm going to try to connect them personally that are in the same field to try to start these corporations so we can then take over different markets. And it can be one at a time. Again, it's not just about hair. That was just an idea on my mind that came in my mind to use. But no matter what the industry is, I don't care. It's a lot of people that's doing personal training. People can use their money to put together and build an entire gym. And we can have our own Planet Fitnesses, well, gyms that are like Planet Fitnesses floating around, as opposed to we keep sneaking in Planet Fitness and training people when we know that's against the rules, you know. So that's what it is. So that's how to escape the crabs in a barrel mindset, to move from social integration where you compete against each other, combine your powers, come over to here to the vertical integration, compete against the other races, and not only will you be able to compete against the other races, you'll be able to knock the other races out. That way they cannot sell any of the products that we use. They cannot sell any of the services that we use. They cannot be in our neighborhood, packed to the T, different store on every corner. They can't be any of that. Even, let's go back to corner stores, poppy stores. There don't need to be no poppy stores, black stores. Black stores. No more poppy stores, black stores. If we open up our own black stores, pool money together to open up stores, we run them out. And then we then have a bunch of black wealth. And that light in the background is making my head look like it has a bunch of weird shakes, but that's just the light hitting it, making it look crazy. So thank y'all for tuning in. And remember, you know, to escape that crabs in a barrel mindset, you have to have a mindset that I want to connect with my brother and sister. That way we will have a bigger business as opposed to just a one ownership business. And this way we'll compete and eliminate the businesses of other races in our community. Sawabana.